So when you're making an application for a statutory will, what forms need to be completed?
So there's quite a few forms that need to be completed when making an application for a statutory will. The first most important one to complete and also have arranged is really the COP3, which is the capacity assessment report. Okay. So if you're looking to make a statutory will application, that is really the first thing that needs to be done. So you would arrange a mental capacity assessment specifically for testamentary capacity. Okay. So the outcome of that assessment would be in a COP3 form.
Okay.
Once that's done, the other forms that would be required are a COP1, which is the sort of general application form that's used for all COP applications to the Court of Protection. And then you would also complete a COP1A. That form sets out all the financial information of the individuals. That's also a really important form. I mean, they're all important, but this is a very important one because, you know, when you're looking at doing a will, you're talking about the assets of the individual, and these are the assets that are going to be passed down in the statutory will on their death. So setting out their assets, their income in this COP1A is very important. So the next form that you would need to complete is the COP1C. This is a sort of checklist essentially of all the information and documents that you need to provide when making the statutory will application. And then finally, you've got the COP24, which is the witness statement. Okay. So that will set out background to the statutory will application, the reasons for the statutory will application, what the proposed statutory will look like and who it will include. And you can also attach various documents to this witness statement. So that might be any current wills or codicils. And then you would also include the proposed statutory will or codicil, and then any financial information. Also family tree is really important because the court will want to see that you have considered all possible beneficiaries, and they'll like to see that in a family tree.
And would you include things like sort of an inheritance tax calculation and life expectancy and things like that in the application?
Yeah, exactly. And I think something in terms of life expectancy is if you've asked a doctor, for example, to complete the capacity assessment, it's also worth asking them to advise on life expectancy and general medical prognosis, etc. at that point.
Okay, and so really, the more information you can put into the witness statement, the more helpful that's going to be to the Court of Protection, because obviously the Court of Protection are going to be making a decision based on whether or not it's in that person's best interest to make this statutory will or that statutory will. So the more information you can give, the easier the court's job will be in making that decision and weighing up what the options are to it. Thank you, that's helpful. And I suppose that if someone's intestate, i.e. they haven't made a will, that would be a really relevant factor that the court would take into account.
Yeah.
So you'd have to sort of say that